Hey guys, and welcome to my video covering Awaken Realms' latest Kickstarter campaign, Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. That's far too long of a name though, so I'll just stick with Tainted Grail for the rest of the video. Just remember that Avalon fell and we'll be good. It's coming up towards my Christmas vacation, so I have a little bit more time to chat with you guys. If you are traveling, stay safe and be sure to drink lots of eggnog. If you don't like eggnog, then what is wrong with you? Yeah, that was my intro. Let's talk about some game details. Let's go by the numbers at first, and then talk about what the heck the game even is. The game supports 1 to 4 players, and each chapter lasts about 2 to 3 hours, though there is a quick save system, which is nice. The campaign consists of 15 chapters and takes about 30 to 40 hours to complete, and can be replayed thanks to branching story paths and multiple endings. So the game proper. In Tainted Grail, you and up to 3 other players will cooperate to explore the map, delving into a rich story that has you making choices. I'm about to summarize the game, but please know, like Nemesis, this game is rather complex. This is not a baby's first board game here, and it is very rule heavy with many layered game mechanics. First, you pick a unique hero that has a certain set of stats, as well as a special skill and a negative trait you must play around. Each character also comes with their own unique deck of cards used for fights and diplomacy. As they progress, they can get new upgraded cards to show character growth. Each hero also has a nice mechanic where you have 3 bars that must be maintained: energy, health, and sanity. As your health lowers, it limits how far your energy and sanity can be expended, and it's important none get filled. You expend energy to do most actions such as exploring. To reveal another part of the map, you simply move to that card, and then each card leads to a certain set of other cards to the various sides of it, slowly building out the map in a connected way. You can then flip the card over and be presented with a wide range of activities. Combat is essentially its own mini-game within the game. Here you have to match symbols and build sequences, but each enemy has certain weaknesses and counters. Each round is a day, and at the end you dream. Dreaming, certain map locations, and certain decisions all drive the story in different ways. Now, that was a super high-level overview of the game. The campaign specifics is everything you need to know about the Kickstarter itself. Tainted Grail will be on Kickstarter for 23 days. During that time, you can pick from 2 different pledge tiers. The first is the core box plus stretch goals tier for $90. With this, you get the core box of 8 miniatures, 4 double-layer player boards, 100 small cards, 576 standard cards, 72 oversized cards, 106 tokens and markers, 10 metal dials, and 220 pages of story, plus all stretch goals. Note that if you back within the first 24 hours, you get another hero for free. She'll cost $10 for anybody who pledges after that time. These amount to the following breakdown: 120 encounter cards, 60 items, 100 events, 40 secrets, 36 universal ability cards, and 64 location cards. You also get 2 die, some save sheets, and a quick save insert, wooden and plastic markers, and some adventure maps. The second pledge is the Excalibur pledge, and it costs $140. For that, you get everything just mentioned, as well as a Monsters of Avalon miniature pack. This pack includes 20 monsters, all with unique sculpts, and many of them quite large. These are only really used for some encounters and when the enemy is not fought or for whatever reason they stay on the map. Like previous Awaken Realm Kickstarters, the stretch goals will unlock an expansion. The first stretch goal expansion will be The Last Night, a new 15-chapter 40-hour campaign set 400 years after the core box storyline. The first 2 stretch goals specifically unlock 10 new location cards each for this expansion. The miniatures are on 32mm scale, and shipping to the US is estimated to be $23 for the core box. You can choose 1 or 2 wave shipping, but note that 1 wave shipping will have the game available at retail before you receive it. The first shipment for the core game only is estimated for August 2019, and then the stretch goals and add-ons are estimated for May of 2020. Keep that in mind when backing this game, as most Kickstarters I cover don't estimate 1.5 years out. With that, it's time for the King's Decree. The gameplay here seems a bit fiddly, but so do most of AR's board games. It's hard to really judge the game's flow because that's something I very much care about. The game can be as complex as it wants to, as long as the mechanics naturally lead into each other, and it's engaging almost all the time for every player. That's my first concern as a combat, as it seems fun for the person doing it, but slow for everyone else. I know several people in my game group that I can guarantee will wander off or get on their phone while I'm trying to build a good sequence with my combat cards. The setting looks absolutely fantastic, and I love the art direction they have gone with this one. Also, how the tiles line up remind me a lot of Fallout by Fantasy Flight Games, but packaged with a game that isn't absolute garbage. This is in large part to the game being cooperative. I really like this system though, as it allows for good story while still allowing player freedom. If you spawn card 102, it will only link with cards 103, 114, and 121 as an example. Those other 3 cards know that you've been at 102 and can use that to the story's advantage. The only gripe I have about this that I saw in Fallout is that it takes a while to branch out and the first 2 turns are the same limited set of cards. However, with the different acts and non-random draw of cards, I don't see this being nearly as large of an issue in this game. I do have a few gripes. The first is just my caution about the miniature quality. Nemesis holds the record for me personally as the largest fall in quality from 3D sculpt to production plastic, with the heroes in particular at obviously below industry standard for miniatures. Even with that below average rating, it can be anywhere from decent to terrible, as the quality control seems to be all over the place. I've seen some soldiers' helmet have definition and others almost none at all. I've even seen some heads glued on wrong. At the bottom of the page for Tainted Grail, Awakened Realms writes, "Game and all components will be produced in China and will be up to the highest quality standards that we hold for our previous games." Which is downright frightening to me. The Edge Dawnfall is just full of minis with bent parts, lack of facial detail, and mitten hands with hardly any finger definition. That's the last 2 Kickstarters where the mini quality has been objectively worse than any other Kickstarter I've ever received. While I obviously hope Awakened Realms begins to improve their miniature quality past the point of a plastic car from the Game of Life, I will not back this game for the minis at all, with no plan to paint them until I see vast improvements. This is a good lesson for every one of you to never trust a 3D render or a resin prototype. But then they are selling this box of amazing looking 3D renders for $50. Do I buy it? Not right away, that's for sure. I'll have to sit on this one a while. For now, I'll be happy with my core box pledge and would caution everyone to realize that first, the mini will likely not be as good as the image you see on the Kickstarter page, and secondly, realize that this is not a miniature heavy game to begin with. It's almost all cards. Most enemies will be on the board very briefly, so the miniatures in the Monsters of Avalon box will not see a ton of board presence. I'm also worried about the final price point of an all-in. There will most likely be optional buys added that could easily add another $100 to it. If they do add more purchase options, and those include more story expansions like the stretch goal one, I will get that instead of the miniatures. With that out of the way, can we pinky promise that we won't back any more Kickstarters this year? Kickstarter was on fire this year, with many amazing campaigns and games delivered and funded. That's why I will be recording a 2018 Miniature Game Award video. I have most of the categories done, but I'd love to hear of some categories you might like to see, so let me know in the comments below what I should include in there, and feel free to recommend a winner. Next up, however, is a really big video to cover many upcoming 2019 Kickstarters, starting as early as January. Prepare your wallets, and subscribe if you haven't. Hitting that bell icon to ensure YouTube lets you know when I post those videos. Now, it's time to say goodbye for today. Thanks a ton for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.